How do you assess the prospects of artificial intelligence helping move digital infrastructure and digital governance into the next gear?
Thank you, Rahul. India has adopted digital technologies like fish takes water. Each and every aspect of our economy is today digitalizing at a very rapid pace. We believe that India's stack, which has made such a fundamental difference in people's lives, empowering them, giving them the new tools, giving them new technological, new access, that will be further strengthened by AI. And one of the quickest wins is we integrated our Bhashini language AI tool, which translates from one Indian language to any other Indian language, real time, spoken, text, everything. We integrated that with ChatGPT, and very good results we are seeing. Somebody in hinterland of India speaking can ask a question in Hindi to ChatGPT. ChatGPT finds the answer and actually gives the answer back in spoken Hindi. So that kind of possibility is there. Yes, there will be many more serious applications like in cybersecurity, in healthcare, in multiple sectors. Probably as AI grows, this is the time to be curious, time to make sure that we are open-minded, time to make sure that we are reflective upon what AI can do for the society.
Mr. Smith, artificial intelligence has most often been something held out in a distant future. A lot of what Microsoft has been saying and doing recently, especially through ChatGPT, seems to suggest that that future is here, it's now. Can you give us a sense of what you think are the most obvious and the most powerful applications of artificial intelligence in the manner in which countries are governed?
Well, the first thing I would say is I think you're right. The truth is we really started to recognize last year as we worked with OpenAI, and it really is this relationship that we've been building for several years, that we would see in 2023 advances that 2 years ago we would have said we wouldn't see until 2033. So it's as if the future has been pulled forward by a decade. And I think the first thing we should recognize is that people will develop creative uses for this that none of us have yet imagined. That's the first thing we learn every time technology moves forward in this way. I will say this, I think this is an enormous tool for what I would call critical thinking and creative expression. Take the example you just heard. Someone has a question, they can go get an answer to it, even if the answer right now is in a language they do not speak. That opens up the opportunity for people to just think and learn more about the world. The other thing that, of course, everyone is experiencing when they use ChatGPT is it's this enormous tool for expression, for creative expression. Now just step back and say, is there anything in human life, in any country, that doesn't involve some level of critical thinking or creative expression? The answer is no. So now we recognize this will permeate almost everything.
Rajesh, when you look at tools like ChatGPT and more largely the use of artificial intelligence, where do you see a company like TCS be able to use it, not just in your own operations, and because you're a partner to the Government of India in so many applications and being part of the Indian digital stack, how do you see this help accelerate the speed of digital transformation?
Rahul, as the Minister said, what we have seen is that the moment a new digital technology is made available, its rate of adoption, both in society as well as in industry, has always surprised us. The extent of technology leverage has been continuously increasing, but we still believe that we are at the very early stages of truly using technology to transform many of the value chains in multiple industries and in other social areas. So any such tool that actually accelerates that technology adoption process, I think is a huge benefit, net benefit to society, and we need to understand it. We need to be able to incorporate it into our service delivery. But I'm very optimistic and positive about what it can do in terms of its transformative power.
Brad, you spoke initially of the positive impact of artificial intelligence and its role in society and governance. How worried are you about the negative impact? I was reading about a tool which Microsoft itself is developing, which can, within 3 seconds, start replicating somebody else's voice. Now, in an Indian context and globally, there's so much fake news already. Now, imagine Minister Vaishnav's voice saying he's just become best friends with his prime opponent, and all kinds of things can happen before he comes out and clarifies. That story's already gone viral, where education is low, people's desire or their or the chances of them believing in fake news becomes that much higher. Some of these technologies could have a very deep dark side.
Well, and I think that is also an important point. We need to go into this with our eyes wide open. It's probably good that it's 2023, and we've seen over the last 20 or 30 years that fundamentally every technology tool can also be turned into a weapon. Yeah, and there's a reason that our research division did that research project, announced the results of it, and did not release the tool so that other people could misuse it. So in the first instance, I think all of us who are in the business of creating these technology tools need to build on the work that we've been pursuing for 5 or more years to ensure that they're used ethically, responsibly, legally. And then I think the other thing we need to recognize is that this technology likely will be weaponized by some. Every technology always is. But we can then use the technology itself to defend against those kinds of abuses. One scenario that is being discussed in a number of countries right now is frankly a concern by teachers that students will use this to cheat on their papers. Well, there's a student, a former Microsoft intern who's now a senior at Princeton University in the United States, who used ChatGPT to create an application to detect when papers are being written by ChatGPT. But that is actually a lesson that comes from cybersecurity as well. You use the technology to increase defensive protection.